Good evening and welcome to Skinny Sports Bar and Grill, located at the corner of Huntoon Gage here in the capital city of Kansas. For the next hour, we'll be talking all things Washburn basketball as the Washburn Ichabod's gearing up for another road trip as they take on the Newman Jets coming up tomorrow night at Fugate Gymnasium, 5:30, 7:30 tips. And then on Saturday, they will head down the interstate all the way to Edmond, Oklahoma to take on the Central Oklahoma Broncos, a 1:30 and 3:30 tip-off coming up this week. And here is the benefit for the Washburn men's basketball team. Now, the Washburn women's basketball team a little different because they still got two extra road trips to go on that the men have already taken care of. But the Washburn men, once they finish this road trip, they have just two road games in the month of February. How awesome is that schedule? The man to my right, he is excited about that. Taking care of these two road games, getting some wins on the road. Then it's a lot of home games at Lee Arena that he is going to be excited about. Come on up here to Skinny Sports Bar and Grill, located at the corner of Huntoon and Gage. Coming up on Sunday the 7th, I don't need to tell you what is going on. It is Super Bowl 55. So come on out here to Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Giveaways, food, everything that you want for the big game coming up on Sunday the 7th with the Chiefs taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, great giveaways, jerseys, food, all sorts of good stuff here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill at Huntoon and Gage. So plan on your get-together here at Skinny's. First off, we will talk with head coach Brett Ballard. We'll also hear at the end of this hour head coach Ron McHenry of the Washburn women's basketball team as the Washburn Ichabods finishing up the month of January. And as we bring in head coach Brett Ballard, and Brett, as I alluded to that, I know coaches are, the next game, all that type of stuff. And broadcasters like myself, we kind of sometimes look a little bit down the road and everything like that. But after this week, in the month of February, you just have two road games. Central Missouri on the 13th, Missouri Southern on the 25th. Did you know that? And one, that has to make you smile.
It's funny, Jake. I will be so focused. I'll look at the schedule a little bit ahead of time every once in a while. We've got to be coordinated on certain things. But I don't look at our schedule past about a week out all that often. And so I did. You said that it did feel like we've played a ton of road games. I feel like we've been on the road. It feels like virtually, I feel like every game's been on the road. and part of it, we had to go to Kearney, had to go to Hayes. Those are, somewhat long trips. We went all the way down to Northeastern, for that trip, Northwest Missouri, Missouri Western. So, we've had quite a few road games. It'll be nice once we get these next two in, and then, like you said, we'll finish up at home. Which I think will be beneficial. It's not quite the same this year, obviously, without. We've been top 10 in attendance in the country for virtually every year for the last 20 years. We have such great fan support in Lee Arena, and so that gives us a great home court advantage. Our fans have been awesome. This year with limited capacity because of the COVID stuff and just allowing families, and it's not quite the same, but I still think it's beneficial that
you get to practice on your home gym.
You don't travel. You're not on a bus. I'll say this though: we're right in the middle of the conference from a travel standpoint, so. We always tell our guys we're fortunate, compared to some schools. You think about, Nebraska Kearney, we're their second shortest trip, and it's 4.5, 5 hours. And Hayes is their closest, and that's pushing 2. So we really can't complain too much about the travel, at Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right; it'll be nice to be home that last pretty much the whole month of February, and hopefully that'll be beneficial to us. I know our guys. Playing at home, not have to travel, shooting on your own home rim sometimes is beneficial too.
Now, the unique thing about Division II compared to Division I, at least on the football side of things, Division I, the day before a game in football, they pack them up and put them in a hotel. Well, yeah, that doesn't happen in Division II. At Division II, you essentially just sleep in your own bed, wake up, and get to the school for a football game. Basketball, the same thing. At Division I level, do they do that where they put you up in a hotel the night before a game so that they kind of keep you isolated, that type of thing? Does that happen at Division One, or depending upon, like KU, everybody lives in the MacArthur Hall, I believe,
yeah.
and so you don't have to do that because they're all there.
We didn't do that. A lot of the football teams did that. Home games, they put them up at a hotel. I knew some basketball teams that would do that. Kind of allows you. It's really to keep track of your guys to eliminate some of those distractions that may occur on Mass Street on a Friday night. Night for a game. We never did that. We would check curfew, and I'm sure with McCarthy Hall now they kind of got all one spot right there. We don't do that here at Washburn, and it's a little bit interesting this year, Jake, with the travel, because what we were doing was we were moving all those local Thursday games to a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So like we would have played Newman tonight in a normal year, right? So that way we could travel down to Newman today, play that game, come back Wednesday night. Then you'd have Thursday, Friday to prepare for UCO, and then probably head down to UCO Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the league, and we'd set that up, but the league mandated that everybody keep their game on Thursday, Saturday because of COVID and official scheduling, and just wanted to keep everything uniform. And so what that's created a little bit, which I understood, we understood the reasoning behind that. The hard part a little bit from a travel standpoint and a budget standpoint is now we're going to have to go down to Wichita Thursday. We'll stay after the game Thursday night, because if we came back, we would get back at probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. We would practice here on Friday, then have to turn right back around, get on a bus and drive down to UCO Friday night, because I really don't want to make a 4-hour bus trip the day of a game, show up and play the game. We want to get there the night before. So because we couldn't switch that game to Wednesday, we're staying out probably a little bit more than we would. It doesn't affect us as much because we're right in the middle of the conference. But in this particular scenario, I would have preferred to be able to move it to Wednesday. But reasons behind that, and we understand it.
We're talking with head coach Brett Ballard of the Washburn Ichabods, as Washburn ranked 13th in the country, 10-2 on the season. There'll be an action coming up this Thursday, tomorrow, 5:30, 7:30 tip-offs from Fugate Gymnasium down in Newman. Washburn is now starting the second rotation, if you will, for their games. They've already played Newman. They've already played Central Oklahoma. There are two teams that they're going to play on Thursday and Saturday coming up. So we'll preview those games. The Washburn Ichabods, though, they are a perfect 5-0 at home, 5-2 on the road, coming off a loss to Emporia State, 91-74. And this is a game that I wanted to have Emporia's SID tell me, because I have not seen Emporia State shoot the ball like they did in the game. And I thought that your defense was pretty good. Now, coaches versus broadcasters view that very, very differently. Hands in the face in the first half, and they're hitting fadeaway threes, and guys who normally go 20% from deep hit 5 threes in the game. Like, it's one of those things where it's almost Murphy's Law where it goes bad, but at the end of the game, you're still within 7 with 3 minutes to go, a chance to cut it to 4. Eventually, the free throws. And again, when you look at the score and people are like, whoa, 91-74, I was like, it was a 7-point game with 3 minutes to go. When you try to foul, extend the game, which I thought was the absolute correct move to try to make this thing work. At the end, they just hit, again, 62% from 3, and that's hard to overcome.
Yeah. The bottom line, you can't give up 91. That's a lot of points to give up. You can't do that to win basketball games. And I thought we maybe got in the mindset a little bit. Our offense had been clicking so well going to that, Jake, that, sometimes if you're not careful, your team will get in the mindset, we're just going to go outscore you. And to start the game, we had some minor mistakes occur that they took full advantage of. And they weren't glaring mistakes. Like watching the film, just a little mistake here and there on certain possessions. We left some guys that we gave them some shots that weren't unchallenged, but cleaner shots that you want to give up. And they saw the ball go in the basket early. That first 5 or 6 minutes, they made a lot of shots. And I thought that really gave them confidence and energy that carried throughout the rest of the game. We crawled back in it. We tied up at halftime, score 43 points, give up 43, which is way too many to give up in a half. And then, came out a little bit, I don't know if sluggish is the right word, but again, they just took advantage of the mistakes that occurred. So we got 3 really good looks to start the second half. They don't go.
Yeah.
They don't go. We ran some sets that I liked, and I thought we got good looks. The shots didn't go. Okay, we really got to be locked in on defense. And once again, they started off the half really well. We crawl back in it. I think the most disappointing thing for me was they were the tougher team the last 7, 8 minutes of the game. We still had a chance to win that game as poorly as we played defensively. Offensively, we got a little stagnant there at the end, the last 6 or 7 minutes. Tyler Gavin got pretty tired, and we got a little fatigued, and we didn't capitalize on anything. But, I thought it was really the start of each half that probably more than anything kind of set the tone for that gave them confidence.
It's funny because is this what a coach kind of believes? The start of a half and the end of the half? I know all 20 minutes of each half are the same. A turnover at the 17-minute mark of the first half is the same as a turnover at the 2-minute mark when it goes into the books. But is those first 3 minutes of the half and the last 3 minutes of the half something that emphasize at all? Because one, you don't want to get a team like Newman right now. Newman is 2-9 on the year. First 3 minutes are big if they, as you said, see the ball brick off the backboard or don't get in a rhythm. And then the last 3 minutes going into half, so that you don't have that momentum and everything, and you feel pretty good at halftime when you're kind of scheming everything.
Yeah, I think we talked to our guys. I think every possession is important. First part of the game, into the game, middle of the game. So I think we try to emphasize that in practice and reps and everything we do. But I think we talked to our guys, Jake, about this. We were ranked top 10 in the country, and you're playing your rival, who coming into that game was right at 500, had struggled. I think they're a very talented roster, but just hadn't quite figured it out yet. And you get off to a good start in that game. A lot of times, then their mindset is, they're it's gonna be tough to beat Washburn. We didn't get off to a good start, and that confidence can just it flips so quickly in any sport. And in the MIAA, the margin for error is enough where we gave them that confidence early, and now they think they can play with you. Now they think they can beat you. I thought that gave them energy on both ends of the court. But we do emphasize, Jake, how we talked about this week in practice. How are we going to start each half? The first 5 minutes of the half are important to take away confidence. And then how do you finish the half? We finished the half well, the first half well. We didn't finish the game well. We still gave our chance, as far as we play, we gave ourselves a chance to finish that game the last 6, 7 minutes and come out of there with the win. And, again, we didn't get that done. That's been an emphasis this week in practice. You got to play for 40 minutes, and that last 5 or 6 minutes, we need to be the more disciplined team, the tougher team.
We're talking with head coach Fred Ballard here at Skinny's Sports Bar and Grill. Again, coming out to Skinny's for the big game coming up on February 7th. Chiefs taking on the Bucks. Should be hopefully a fun one for the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, great giveaways, drink specials, everything here at Skinny's Sports Bar and Grill. If you want to get something to go, if you're going to have, just you and a couple people, at your house that's in your kind of inner circle, since we're still dealing with this pandemic, you can order to-go food here at Skinny's Sports Bar and Grill. I'll have to ask you, the Ballard household, what will the Ballard household be doing for, and again, this is fun to say, the second Super Bowl in a row for our beloved Kansas City Chiefs? So what is the plan? It works out great that basketball's on a Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. You'll work, I'm assuming, during the day because you'll come in. The guys get that day off, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So they'll get that Sunday off. NCAA, for those of you who don't know, mandated 1 day off every single week. So they'll get that Sunday off and work at the office, cut up a whole bunch of film. You've got 2 games coming up. Rogers on that Thursday, and then on Saturday taking on Northeastern State. Is it just till about 5:30 and then head home and hopefully wear the same clothes and sit in the same spot and it'll be back-to-back Super Bowls?
Yeah, so that week actually, Jake, so that's not this Sunday, right? But next Sunday. So
the 7th.
We'll actually have, if I'm not mistaken, Lincoln on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a Tuesday. Yes,
we'll give our guys off because we have to give them that day off. So we'll work. The great thing is you can take your computer and work forever. So we'll definitely get some work done. And then I've always thought I'm always surprised they haven't moved Super Bowl Sunday to a Saturday. I think it would make more sense. Like, they make a ton of money off it anyways, but people could even go blow it out even bigger because I don't have to work the next day. I always thought it was interesting that they kept that on a Sunday night. But I'm thankful now I'm sure you know more about this. I'm thankful now as a college basketball coach.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we'd even play on that Saturday. Definitely be tuned in. Normally, we'd probably have some people over and have a little. We've over the years kind of had little Super Bowl parties, and we have some fun with that and all that. But obviously, with the pandemic going on, we won't be able to do that. We'll be tuned in, man. My son is 13. He's seen the Royals win a World Series. He's seen the Chiefs now. He's going to see the Chiefs playing 2 Super Bowls. This dude is so spoiled that he thinks that this is just the reality being a Kansas City sports fan. I'm like, dude, we have to soak up every minute of this. Even though we got Patrick Mahomes, we got to soak up every minute. I was nervous last week about us beating the Bills. You told me not to worry, that it was going to be, and you were right. And so now I'm nervous because I don't feel like the Bucks can beat us, and so I'm nervous that I'm overconfident that we're gonna.
Yeah,
I don't think that, and I hear you guys talking, and I don't even think I have to watch the game according to listening to you guys on talk radio. That it's just I don't even need to turn the game on. It's a foregone conclusion that the Chiefs are going to win.
If Eric Fisher, the left tackle, was playing, I would be pretty confident, but because Big Fish is out, that means we got another backup on the O-line. That's my biggest issue.
An important spot,
yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, everywhere else, the Chiefs, I think, are going to be in good shape. It's a bummer that we've had 3 starting offensive linemen go down this year for the Kansas City Chiefs.
One opt out, right?
Well, he wasn't a starter, but he would have been a backup.
But still, he would have. So you're talking about 4 linemen that would have been big parts of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the offense is still it's unbelievable.
See, my theory, this is what I would do, is I would move the football season back a week, and I would have the big game on Sunday, the day before President's Day, which is a federal holiday.
Yeah, there you go.
So President's Day is the 15th this year, the Monday after, the big game is on the 7th. And so everybody's like, we'll make the day after the big game, a federal holiday. Well, it's just the next week. We just got to postpone
back a week. There you
push
go.
It back a week. That's what I would do.
Does it not make? I mean, why do we do it on a Sunday? Everybody's got to go to work the next day. Does it not make sense to move it? Or I guess it just. I mean, I know it's tradition now. They would never probably do it now, but I guess to me, Saturday everybody could have a big shindig once we're out of this pandemic and all that, and then you got the next day off. But you're right. If they pushed it back a week, there we go. Then we could all have. Now I'm in the middle of college basketball, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm glad it's on a Sunday. It's it's nice too. We lived on the East Coast for a little bit, Jake, and
East Coast time is awful.
And so
it's awful.
It wasn't terrible, but it was just an hour later. So I'm glad to be back in the Central Time Zone, and we'll be locked in, cheering on the Chiefs. Should be a lot of fun. They played great last Sunday. Hopefully we can do the same thing.
Hopefully we can do the same. Well, hopefully the Ichabods will get and take care of business against the Newman Jets. We'll preview the Newman team as well as Central Oklahoma. Talk a few about some of the Ichabod players as Washburn and Newman tangling on Thursday, tomorrow, 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men, right here on your home for Washburn Athletics. We'll get a quick timeout. We'll finish things off here for this first half hour with the Washburn basketball coach of the Ichabods, Brett Ballard, here on the Washburn Coaches Show, live from Skinny's Sports Bar and Grill. and Grill, located at the corner of Huntoon Gage here in the capital city of Kansas. Finishing up this first half of the Washburn Coaches Show with head coach Brett Ballard of the Washburn Ichabod's, ranked 13th in the country. 10-2 are the Washburn Ichabod's. They'll be in action coming up tomorrow. And before we get into a couple players who I want to discuss and get a little health update as well, we know now about the MIAA tournament. It's not going to be in Kansas City, which sucks. I'm not going to lie to you. I love the MIAA tournament. Tournament basketball is so much fun, especially at Municipal. It's got a big-time feel to it with the history at Municipal. And so that stinks. So it's going to be at home sites. And for the first round, it kind of looks like it's going to be, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. Is that kind of what they haven't released that, but that's kind of what the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, that's what I assume it'll be. I think top 8 seeds are going to get in, so that would obviously make the most sense. I'm with you. I think one of the best things about this conference, there's a lot of great things, is the tournament. Municipal is an incredible environment to have it in. You stay right there at that Marriott right across the street, and you're able to walk right across the street to it. The fans are there. It feels, I've been involved with a lot of Big 8, and I'm old enough now, Big 8, and Big 12 tournaments. At KU, ACC tournament when I was at Wake Forest, and it has a similar feel to it, and it's such a cool experience for our players. Been fortunate to play in a championship game twice since I've been here, and that's been been a lot of fun. So you kind of saw it coming. Somebody asked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I don't see any way we're going to have it in Kansas City. If you can't have fans, we can't afford to have it in Municipal. But still, hopefully we'll have some type of tournament with or going to have some type of tournament. It looks like with the higher seeds hosting. Hopefully by then maybe we'll be able to have a few more fans in Lee Arena if we're fortunate enough to host one of those games. And again, our guys, and I think you look at sports in general, our guys will compete no matter what. I think that even without fans, these teams have showed up in the league and competed and played hard. So we'll look forward to it being back in Kansas City, but we'll have to take advantage of what it is this year.
When have you heard anything about an NCAA tournament yet? I am hoping that it's a normal type of tournament. Now, it's not going to be the normal 64 teams. They've already determined that. They cut that down to what, 48 or 32?
48, I believe.
48.
There's going to be 6 teams from each region. I'm not great at math, but I believe 6 teams in each region. So I think,
and that hasn't changed. Like, they're still, as of now, going forward with that NCAA tournament.
Well, as of now, here's my concern. Just to be very candid about that, Jake, is the last thing the NCAA probably wants to do is spend money on an NCAA Division II tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality.
And it's a business.
It is a business. And they're going to have an NCAA tournament this year, obviously. But it's not going to be quite the same, and they're not going to make quite as much money because there's no fans, and no fans at the Final Four is going to be that's a budget issue. So my concern is I think we'll have a tournament. I do. I think that, I think they'll try to do the right things, but I'm also a little bit leery that, business decisions could be made. Again, haven't heard anything about that. Feel somewhat optimistic that we'll have a tournament, but also not naive enough not to know that it's a business and potentially we may get some bad news. I just, we haven't addressed that with our team or anything. Just got to go play. We got a long ways to go to get there. It's kind of like everything with COVID, kind of like you've been doing, Jake. Some of these things you just got to cross that bridge when you get there. You can't give it too much time and effort. But it's far enough in the future that we'll address it when it occurs.
Well, we're talking with head coach Brett Ballard of the Washburn Ichabod's, and Brett, you take on a Newman team. And Newman came to Lee Arena, and you guys took care of business 100-61. And in the game against Newman, you guys maybe had, I think, maybe your second best offensive night. You shot 52% from the field, 50% from deep, going 12 of 24. Efficient at the line, 78%. You had a lot of guys play well. How do you make sure that, hey, guys, you just can't roll the ball out here because you won by 39 the last time here on the road?
Yeah, that's the magic question, right? How do you how do you come back? Because we played great in that game. That was one of our better efforts, and it just wasn't Newman's night. I mean, we had a lot to do with that, but they just had a tough night too. But how do you not allow your guys to get complacent and think that it's going to be easy? And discussed it with our team, talked about it a lot this week that, the second time you play a team, it's always different. You see it all the time in sports. A team upsets a team one time or plays well one time, the next time it's a completely different game. And I think that we've got our guys' attention knowing that this Newman team went to Northwest Missouri last week, who's one of the top 5 teams in the country, and had a lead with 10 minutes to go in the game, a tie game with 5 minutes left, and so this team is playing better. They're playing more together. They're playing more disciplined than we played them the first time. And so we got to go down there expecting it to be a great game. I also think our guys, listen, we went to Northeast Oklahoma, who's one of the bottom teams in the league right now. New coach, new system. They got a lot of things going on, but one of the bottom teams in the league, and had to go to overtime to get that win. So our guys shouldn't think they can just sashay into any gym and show up and win. We've been through that and experienced that firsthand. And, what mentally we're trying to get those guys ready, but obviously a concern as a coach when you beat a team like we did the first time.
Well, a couple of guys that I want to get to real quick, who I thought one of them thrust into the starting role because of the injury to Drew Mashoff, and that is Tyler Nelson, the 6'3" sophomore, coming off 17 points. But he really has now become one of the guys that really is looking for his shot and is now a guy who you kind of rely on instead of coming off the bench to give you some points. I really think Tyler has shot the ball much better this year, obviously 42% from deep, and he missed a couple at Emporia State that you thought, man, those are going to go down, and had to shoot a couple of them late. So honestly, his percentage probably should be around 46%, but I really do think Tyler has really taken the next step since being inserted into that starting lineup.
Yeah, I'm proud of Tyler. He last year played some solid minutes as a freshman, Jake, and showed some flashes. A little bit inconsistent, which most freshmen are, and solid minutes, late into the year. He came back this summer and was really hungry, and he had a very good summer. Maybe one of the best summers out of anybody on our team. He was really good in the off season, and then started the year. And not that he was bad, but had a little bit of inconsistencies even in practice in some of the games. Challenged him a little bit, and I think that he's been terrific the last couple of weeks, and especially the last month or so. With Drew being done for the year with his injury and being done for the year, obviously, part of this was out of his control, but he was really coming anyways. I mean, he was really gaining steam even before that, and had some good games. And since he started, he's played well. We didn't play well Saturday, but we played well in the games before that. He's earned it. His work ethic, he's been great in practice. Tyler Guyman likes playing with them. He's earned his trust, and when you have Tyler Guyman's trust, that's definitely a positive thing.
Well, hopefully a positive thing is we will be getting the big fella back here soon. Any update on Johnny Kloss thing again? And I try to tell people Johnny's really had a nice year, 11 points per game, 5 rebounds, almost 6 per game. He was leading the league in blocks per game before he's missed the last 3 games. Is he close to getting back? Kind of game time decision tomorrow?
Yeah, still close. I say doubtful for Thursday's game, hopeful for Saturday, very hopeful for next week. Johnny just still nursing that foot injury, still pretty sore. And you're right. Johnny has been in foul trouble. If you eliminate the foul trouble, if you look at points per minute and rebounds per minute, and again, he's got to stay out of foul trouble. But having a nice year. We miss his presence around the rim on both ends of the court. Can create easy baskets and does a really good job walling up, protecting the rim. Be great to get him back. But again, we got to go with the guys that we've got, and those guys are rallied around without him in there for the most part. But certainly, when he's back, he makes our team better.
Well, it should be again. Look forward to this. You head down to Wichita, and then you go to Central Oklahoma, and you come back. Well, then you only got 2 more road games to go. That's exciting stuff. A lot of home games at Lee Arena. Best of luck against the Jets on the road.
Okay, thanks, Jake.
That is head coach Brett Ballard of the Washburn Ichabods here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Again, the Ichabods 10-2 on the season, second in the MIAA. In the loss column to Northwest Missouri State, they've got one loss. So again, the Ichabods ranked 13th in the country, playing some good basketball. Tomorrow, 7:30 tip-off from Fugate Gymnasium. Coming up next, we're going to talk with head coach Ron McHenry of the Washburn women's basketball team here at the Washburn Coaches Show live from Skinny's. Bar and Grill here on the home for Washburn Athletics Country 106.9. Again, the Washburn Ichabods will be in action tomorrow, 5:30, with the tip-off against the Newman Jets on the women's side. And then, of course, the men will follow at 7:30, 5:15 pregame coverage. Then Saturday, 1:30 and 3:30 tip times in Edmond, Oklahoma, taking on the Central Oklahoma Broncos. Washburn didn't travel to Newman or Edmond last year, so it's been 2 years since they've been down to Edmond and to Fugate Gymnasium. Again, we're here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, coming up for the big game on February the 7th, Chiefs versus Bucks. Giveaways, food specials, drink specials coming out here to Skinny's, and watch the game socially distant from friends and cheer on the Chiefs taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to try to go back-to-back champions in the NFL. So again, coming out here to Skinny's on February the 7th. As we bring in now the head coach of the Washburn women's basketball team, who will be watching the big game. I'm assuming, again, this works out great. Sunday you do not play, so this works out well. So you'll be able to watch the Chiefs win back-to-back Super Bowls. Ron McHenry.
Sure.
Sure. What do you mean? What is this sure stuff?
Well, you said it all. Yeah, you're correct. We'll have some practice that morning, lift. There's the game goes on. We have to leave on. We play Tuesday.
You play Tuesday, yep.
So we'll play Northeastern on Saturday, and then film and lifting and practice on Sunday morning, and then watch the game.
So you just took care of the schedule for me. I don't even need to do that anymore.
I could do it for you.
Yeah,
I can't. You want me to ask you questions?
I mean, no one wants to hear from me. I'm just.
Well, you might know what question I'm going to ask you. You might want to hear.
Well, that is true. The Washburn,
it is a sports show, though. I can't ask you questions outside the sporting world.
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, if you've got a particular question,
you do a great job at your business, and I'm just here. I'm just here for you.
Are you
let
here?
Her rip,
are you here like you're Marshawn Lynch? I'm just here so I don't get fined. Except you don't get fined.
No, I'm here because I want to talk some basketball.
Okay.
I want to talk Ichabod women's basketball, and I want to talk to you and the fans that are listening.
I don't know if that's true. If we get you a lie detector test, I don't know. Maybe that's not true. But right now, though, you're just finishing up practice.
I just ran over here and left the assistants with the final part of the practice, and
so is that kind of But you've got two good assistants, so you don't really have to worry about that.
I'm pretty replaceable at many times. So
well, you are a guy who likes to be in control, so maybe that.
You're correct.
That
I mean, while you're talking to me, I'm thinking about, okay, did they get all that covered?
I think they did.
I'm sure they did. And if they didn't, they won't tell me, so I won't know. Isn't that the truth? If you don't know, it can't hurt you.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, unless one of the players would text me and say, "Hey, coach, we forgot something," but I don't think that's going to happen either.
I don't think that's going to end up happening.
I think you're correct.
Have you gotten used to this practice schedule, practicing at night?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. We play at nights most times.
I never actually kind of thought of that. So that's
it's sometimes between trying to catch your legs for an afternoon game. Like we went to practice Friday late, and we're going to play a Saturday after Thursday. That's a little tough on them, but then they also get more recovery time before that practice, so it all works out, and it's fine. Once you get in the gym, it's the gym. I always tell people, they go, "Oh, you have to play a morning game." We play morning games. Hey, once you get in that gym, you don't know what time it is. I mean, honestly, I was coming out of a gym one time at a tournament. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have any idea during the game. You just kind of come out there,
so
into you kind of feel it.
Ron McHenry not big on body clocks then?
No, I mean there's a lot of things you can worry about, but body clock is not one of them.
Okay, because there was a lot of talk about body clocks.
I mean, people written books and stuff on everything, Jake. I mean, gosh darn, you can make up a lot of stuff to think about out there, but you can worry about certain things. I mean, their body clocks are fine.
Yeah, and you're old school. Hey, you roll out the ball. I don't care if it's at 8 in the morning, if it's at.
Hey, if I know it's going to be a 5 o'clock practice, and I get myself geared up for 5 o'clock practice. If I know it's going to be a 9 o'clock practice in the morning, I get myself geared up for a 9 o'clock practice in the morning. That's the way it works. It's going to be a game at 9 in the morning, 11 in the morning, whatever you want. Get yourself ready. It's just kind of how it works.
And if you can't get up for a game, well, then get out of town.
Then you don't need to be playing. If you're not excited to play a game and got yourself ready, then you probably don't need to be playing the game.
So you kind of dumb it down to the simplest of terms then.
This is the simplest thing, and people and everything we do in the world, it gets too complicated. It's very simple. Use common sense. It's not that hard. It's one of my quotes. It's just not that hard. This is not rocket science. It's not. It's really simple. Just get in the habit. Train yourself to do this thing over and over again. You have to adjust sometimes on the fly, but this is not that hard. And it's just common sense and repetition to figuring out what you're doing, and then let your skill levels play.
Well, the Washburn women will be taking on Newman coming up tomorrow, but the Ichabods had just 2 games last week. They took care of the Lincoln Blue Tigers on Tuesday. Again, they're starting to get some of these makeup games. Of course, next week they'll be in action against Northeastern State, or I should say, in 2 weeks. But when you look at the game, Ron, you fall to Emporia State 64-55, and you had a tough second quarter and a tough end of the first half. You battle back. You got it to within 7 here in the fourth quarter. Late missed a big jumper there to cut it to 5 with about 3 minutes to go in the game. You fall to Emporia State, but you hold Emporia State to well under their average, 39% shooting, 64 points as a team that likes to score and get up and down. What was kind of the big takeaway after you watch the film? Because day of the game can sometimes be different after you watch the film.
Again, I kind of felt it, and you're right. You'll go look at a stat sheet or watch film, and I can almost tell you right after the game, look at a stat sheet that I kind of feel. I mean, you do it long enough, you kind of feel what happened in the game. You just don't know maybe the numbers quite exactly as they are. But again, it was one of those games like the Pitt State game where, other than that horrible second quarter and 17 points in the first half, we beat them in a lot of areas. I mean, other than the shooting percentage, and we outboarded them by 9. We had 9 offensive rebounds. We turned it over only 10 times against their press and
That's pretty darn good.
They turned over a lot more than we did. They only had 8 assists. I mean, so that's basically one-on-one basketball in some area of the court. But at the bottom line, we don't shoot it well. We get beat. And we had 70 possessions. We had 70 shots up. They only had 56. So we gained a lot of possessions on those offensive boards and not turned over. We just didn't shoot it well. And I want to make sure everybody knows it's we. It's not them. I'll never throw anybody under the bus. It's my job to get them confident to shoot it, get them in the right place. One of the things I'm trying to concentrate with them on is to find the right shooters. We have some great shooters on the team, and when teams will really work hard to slide away from them, especially in the zone, to keep them away from the ball. We got to do a better job of finding them maybe on an offensive rebound where we're just a long offensive rebound, because we're getting a few of those where Hunter's sliding. All we have to do is kind of find her, and we're not doing that and getting her head up and getting her more possessions than some other players on the floor, because good teams are going to take away your scorer or your shooter and then allow somebody else to try to beat them. And we got to be smart enough to understand that that's what they're wanting to do to us, and find more shots for those kids, and make a few more bunnies under the basket. We didn't shoot very off the foul line. Didn't get there a lot, but didn't even shoot very when we got there. So some things that we've been concerned about is the press and their trapping zone 2-3. We handled that pretty good. We just didn't finish the back of it, and that's kind of been what we've talked about. But there's a lot of things that I really am excited about the way we play. We in that opening set, he had to call timeout because I sure he went in the huddle and said they're killing us on the glass and they're running us up and down the floor. Okay, that's what we want to do, and we just didn't finish enough those. We didn't pass the ball up the floor well enough against the when we were in freelance break, and then we didn't finish a few of them off. And but the offensive glass work is as good as I've seen since I've been here. Some of the defensive stuff is as good as I've seen. We got beat up a little bit where Job was going driving one-on-one. We kind of kept her in check. You say check, she had 21. Well, she averages 20. What happened was a couple kids bit on her drive, and she threw it out to shooters, and then they got their heads up, and then the freshman that came in, the left-handed kid, really got her head up on some jumpers, and then she was just an animal. So they were just basically playing early. We took them out of both their sets. They want to run a Tulsa set, and they want to run we call it UCLA set, where they're trying to post Job, and Mackenzie Campbell did a great job of guarding Job on that early, and they got it out of quickly. They figured out she's not going to let her score down there.
And then she was taking tough jump. I mean, you're shooting fadeaway elbow jumpers. That's not a high percent.
No, she's one of those players that she's going to make some shots. Goes, there's nothing else I can do about it. There's just nothing you can do. We just got to do a better job of not letting those other kids get loose. They're good players, but they're not average in the numbers they got against us that night. And a lot of that was we were just baiting into Job and just kind of staring at her while she's driving, and she kick it to a shooter. Job's a good player. She can get you down here on her own, and then she can pass the ball off when you try to help in on her. So we just didn't handle that very well down the stretch, and then obviously offensively.
We're talking with head coach Ron McHenry of the Washburn women's basketball team. The Ichabods, again, 5-6 on the year. They'll be taking on Newman coming up tomorrow. And one other thing about, you look at shooting percentages defensively, again, you hold them to 39%. You shoot it 70 shots. That's a lot of shots. How many of those do you say, yep, I'll take that shot, it just didn't go in?
Well, when I go back and look, and I don't write it down, like, for example, Mackenzie Campbell shot 16 shots, and everybody's like, what the heck? This kid who didn't play for a semester. Well, they were giving her the shot.
Someone's got to shoot the ball, too.
And she was aggressive to shoot it, and it's fine. I don't have a problem. I think in her whole set, she got one block from 3, which is you probably shouldn't shoot that one. And she shot one quick in the set that had to get close to her to guard it, where she could have got something else. Other than that, I could live with everything she shot, honestly. The problem is that they take Ncaa out of the game against the zone. She's a great player, but against zone, she has a hard time, and we're trying to work her in the middle where she can be more of a passer. But, she's got to be able to, on that night, okay, I'm not shooting it very well. Let's go in the middle of the floor, drive it, where she can get the floor anytime she wants to against zone or man, and then get myself 10 assists. And, that wasn't her mentality. We got to make her think more about that. And then she can get in the middle of the floor like you always want the ball against the zone. And then she can play as a passer in there when she's driving. or we're putting her in the middle against the zone so she can be a passer and drive her from the middle of the floor, get her out of that spot where she's thinking about shooting it. So I don't think we had a couple again where we were at that basket. We didn't finish very strong. Threw a couple up righties on the left-hand side where we should have finished left-handed. You put that together. One player does it twice, another player does it once, one player does it twice. You end up with like 7 or 8 of those shots. Macy had a couple early ones that just getting it down low. You add it all up, and you got probably 10 or 12 shots that if we just finish strong around the basket. Now, I wouldn't say there wasn't a wide open layup, but you have to finish strong through contact within 3 feet. You add up all those, and then the open shots we missed. That's just the way it is, but we've done that. We have to be able to understand that that's not what we need to do. But I wouldn't say a lot of them were horrible shots. They weren't out of sync. They weren't early in the clock. I could probably count 6 or 7 of them, maybe of those 70s. I'd say, okay, we could have got a better shot later to a kid who is a shooter.
Well, when you look at the Washburn defense, I know you spoke a little bit about that, but defensively on the rebounding side of things, Nuria Barrientos with 10 of them, Macy Debley with 10. The second chance opportunities for Emporia State next to none. You had 23, so you're again crashing the offensive glass. But defensively right now, I'm actually very impressed with rebounding because, again, you don't have a 6'3",
Our 2 leading rebounders are guards.
Our guards and who are 5'7" and 5'10". Now, granted, they're 2 good rebounding guards.
You're only getting 100 at 5'7" this year.
What is she listed? 5'9", okay.
I can say I tried to lift her 5'10" for a long time because I wanted somebody to think she was bigger than that because she plays bigger. But
she's one of the best players in the league.
She's 5'9", and then Nuria is a long 5'10", 11. So those kids can release and go get balls. You watch Nuria; she gets a ton of them off the glass and just takes off on the dribble, which is a great way to start your break with a guard just grabbing and going. And you catch some games where I'm like, okay, low, that's Lauren. Cassidy must have had 20 rebounds because I see her down there battling all the time. But she'll have like 6. But what she's doing a job, and Abby's doing a job, and they're cleaning people up. They're cleaning their kid off the glass, and then other people are at least through and get it. And so everybody's doing a great job of blocking out. We got to continue that. We got to continue the defense and then clean up the offense. But defensively, I've watched a lot of film in my life. When we came back Sunday or Saturday night, I went or watched film on Sunday. I went away saying, this team plays too hard. They rebounded too hard. They defended too hard not to get some success, and it's frustrating to me, and I'm sure it's frustrating to the players because they understand why it's not working. But in the hard-nosed stuff that we teach, they're doing a lot of things that are incredibly well, and that takes a lot of energy to do and a lot of toughness to do. So I always respect them for that. We just got to clean up our offensive end and get a couple of our kids defensively to communicate early where we can switch things out because we are a big team with guards out there, so we could do some easy switching, and sometimes we fight that. But that game was more of an ISO game down the stretch, either in the post or with Job outside or the left-handed freshman driving us out there. And then also recognizing what kids are doing. I mean, the Schultz kid had 5 for 6. Make her put on the floor one time, please. Don't let her continue to shoot the 3. So we got to recognize that, and then we become a really good defensive team.
We'll see if the Ichabod's will play a good defensive effort against the Newman Jets in a game that's going to be very slow down and a slow pace. We'll preview the Jets here with head coach Ron McHenry as the game coming up tomorrow at 5:30 tip-off from Wichita. That's coming up as we finish off this Washburn Coaches Show live from Skinny's. At Skinny's Sports Bar, your food is fast, delicious, and Bar and Grill for the final time here for this edition of the Washburn Coaches Show. Again, come on by. Coming up on February the 7th, excuse me, as we are inching out of the month of January. February 7th will be the big game. Chiefs taking on the Buccaneers. Again, coming out here to Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Again, they will have giveaways. They'll have great food, drink specials, and everything here at Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, every single lunch weekday, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2, just $5.49. You get a cheeseburger and fries here at Skinny's Sports Bar and Grill. Did Ron McHenry get something from Skinny Sports Bar and Grill this evening?
I did. I was screaming in a little late there, so no, I did not.
Well, you could have something made as we speak.
I think my wife has got a dinner for me.
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
I don't know if my wife does or not.
The stay-at-home COVID deal, I got a few more than normal, and so she's a great cook on certain foods. And, and that I think one of her buddies listens to this every once in a while. She'll probably tell her, "Sorry, hon."
Certain foods. All right, I'm gonna tell you this. My wife's a phenomenal cook at every single food.
Hey, you can't see Jake's mouth in the mask. I can see his eyes. I'm reading eyes.
I'm not smiling at all.
Is your tongue in your cheek anywhere?
No, we're
your eyes gave it away. I thought that looked a little tongue-in-cheek eye look.
Well, Ron, you guys are in action tomorrow against Newman, and Newman plays a very slow-paced basketball. They play a zone that is an extended zone, and you use up a lot of clock. And the Newman Jets score 52 a game. That's last in the conference, and they give up 60 a game. This is a very short possession kind of opposite game that you like to play. So is this a tougher game to play because you like to get out and go, or is it a little bit more difficult because when you're not going to get 70 shots up, it's going to be much different? In the game at Washburn, you shot 50 times. I mean, that's 20 less shot attempts. So do you emphasize, hey, when we have the basketball, we've got to be efficient with it? How do you kind of address this type of game? Because this isn't a normal style of basketball.
Well, I don't think their style is really to slow it up. That's not really their style. They get into 2-3 kind of a matchup zone because that's how they want to play. They've got some big kids who'll be tough matchups against smaller fours, and they'd have a hard time maybe guarding some of those perimeter kids, so they're going to drop out of their man. They've got some big kids that are really good around the basket defensively, but probably not perimeter, and so they can go with a bigger lineup out there at times. And then their post play they use a lot. I mean, she's more of a 6-footer that's down there, the 24. She's pretty crafty down there, but she'd have a hard time holding up a big post too. So they've just got their defense is geared to what they do and what they are. But I don't think their intentions are to slow the game up, because they'll run as fast as anybody offensively. They really will. I mean, they transition after makes and misses, so that's not their idea. You just end up slowing up a little bit, because if you don't get something in transition, which is what we want to try to do against the zone, is get the ball off the glass, get some stops, get out and run, and get some easy baskets against transition. But once you get into their half court sets, they're very good at making you pass it 4, 5, 6 times to get the look you want. And that's why the game is not as high scoring. But it's not their intention really on the offensive end to grind you through 30-second shot clock. I've never thought that's their intention. But defensively, the way they play it, it becomes a little bit more slower pace and a lot less shot attempts. So they do a nice job of glass work. So it's hard to get offensive glass off their zone, and it's hard to kind of match up to them, and you have to run some different looks against them to get your looks. So that's why the pace is that their intentions offensively are not to donkey the ball, as I call it. They will run up and down, try to score on you, but their defense does slow the game down a little bit, because it takes a little while to defeat it.
When you look at that, do you try to emphasize on the transition? Say, hey, if you've got it, just take it all the way to the hoop?
Well, and they're not horrible getting back. I mean, it's not like the last game we played and we got some looks and didn't do a very good job of finishing. They will get back in that zone. It's not like they're horrible at it. Yeah, remember, they play it every game. They play it every day in practice. They're not working on something else, so they're getting used.
Yeah, they are a main or zone team.
So they're pretty used to different offenses against it, different different styles, transition it. They understand they got to get back and transition in. They know how to work out of it. So you try to get your looks, and I mean that's our basketball team right now. We're trying to defend it hard, rebound it hard, run hard, and we got to be selective. I think more at the end of the court. Get the looks we want. If we don't, reset it back in, and then go get the look you want against the half court offense. And so I think we'll be better this time because last time it was early in the semester. I mean, Mackenzie Campbell didn't even play against them. So we'll have a different look. We put in a lot of different stuff against zone because we've seen a lot of zone. And
in the zone, I remember this specifically because you were very emphatic on the sidelines for this game, is you want them to drive this zone because
we'll have to because it's almost man-to-man at times.
You yell drive a lot.
Yeah,
in the
because
game.
you have to penetrate against this zone a little bit, but that doesn't mean one pass of penetration. You have to move the ball inside out and then penetrate it. And that's when the penetration is good. And then a lot of zone sets put two people inside the lane. You got to clear a lane a little bit for those kids to drive in there, and then we got to slide, move to open spots. So the driver's really not always going to be trying to finish themselves. They're going to be looking for dumps and kickouts. And so I always think the ball is shot so much better when the ball goes inside, outside. And that's what you're trying to do on that play. But we've got some different sets in that we've been running because we've had to. Normally in the past, I may have two offenses against a 2-3 zone. We've got about 6, 7 now. So just some starters and stuff. And so we'll have to use those and then get back into our set. But we've seen it so many times here lately that they should, in their sleep, know what I'm going to say to them during certain sets. But so I think we're getting better at it. We'll have to knock shots down. We know that.
That's kind of what it boils down to with this group.
It does. I mean, last time we played them, it was such a low-scoring game, and then we let them get a low go with 14 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, which is just horrendous. And we let that game get away. We got a 10-point lead with it's 49-39 with 5 minutes to go, and we get beat 56, 52, 54, something like that. Then we didn't play the last 5 minutes very well, and that was a disappointing loss, obviously, for us. So we remember that. We kind of understand what the pace of the game is, but that doesn't mean we're going to slow the pace up. We're going to keep playing our game. Everything is dictated. One team dictates something. So if we guard it hard, rebound it hard, run it hard, we're going to play that game. We're not going to slow it up and say, hey, we got to get this game slowed down so we can get the great possession we want to in the half court. We got to be able to run it well. And if we don't have something, then reset it well and then run a half court set. So we got to be good enough to know we don't have something in freelance and then pull it back out and reset, try to beat them in a half court.
Well, unlike the men, you will become kind of the road warriors with these 2 road games, and you got a couple home games, and you're on the road to Northeastern. And so we wish you
a lot of games travel. Defense travels. Rebounding travels. Sometimes shooting doesn't travel because it's different gyms or whatever. There's not going to be any fans at either one of these games. We're not letting fans in either side, so it's just kind of like you're going to get yourself going. And but defense travels, toughness travels, boarding travels, working
and
hard
you guys
travels.
do all that pretty darn well.
Yeah, so I hope I carry that and then clean up the offensive side.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Jake.
That is head coach Ron McHenry of the Washburn women's basketball team, as Washburn will be in action again coming up tomorrow, 5:30, 7:30 tip-offs right here on your home for Washburn Athletics Country 106.9. Then Saturday, they will be in action 1:30, 3:30 tip-offs from Central Oklahoma. So 2 road games for the Washburn men and women this week. That will do it here from Skinny Sports Bar and Grill. Again, coming out Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. Great lunch special, $5.49. Get you a cheeseburger and fries. So for head coach Brett Ballard, head coach Ron McHenry, I'm Jake LeBon saying so long from Skinny Sports Bar and Grill on this edition of the Washburn Coaches Show.